Shut up and sit down.
Next comic on stage, good friend of mine, very funny. Please give it up for Darrin Chase.
Welcome to Sarge Approved. It's me, Sarge, and I'm here with Frenzy.
Howdy.
Oh, howdy. And our guest tonight is comedian Darrin Chase.
How's it going, Mr.
Hello.
Chase?
What's up, dude?
Going great.
Where are you coming to us from tonight?
I'm sitting here in Dangerfields in Shakopee, Minnesota.
Shakopee, Minnesota.
Shakopee.
Yeah.
You're telling us it was a good crowd, but not a big crowd tonight.
Very small crowd, but honestly, I liked it. It was last night. I was in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
There was a decent crowd. It was, but the way the seating was, people were kind of far away, anyways, and the lighting all the light was turned up and stuff. So it didn't give a good vibe for comedy. But tonight there was like 10 people in the room, and it was really good laughter and fun crowd. So can't really get mad at it.
Good vibe tonight.
Yeah, and they kind of. Oh, good.
They not a lot of people, but they're digging your shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the attitude, too. I've been hanging out at the Comedy Store in L.A., and I see national headliners go up in front of crowds this size that have sat through an amazing show, and most of the crowd left, so by midnight or 1, the crowd's down to like 10 people, and I see people go up and have a good set, so I can't have a bad attitude if I see a small crowd. I just gotta do my best, and tonight they were receptive, so.
Nailed it.
Good.
One more night tomorrow, then back to L.A., and we'll see how it goes back in L.A.
Yeah, you're a Minnesota native.
Correct.
And you grew up in the Wilmer area, which I was born in Wilmer.
Sarge fact.
Small world. But you moved to, after high school, you moved out to Seattle, didn't you?
I graduated in Wilmer, and I moved to Minneapolis. I lived out in Eden Prairie. I worked for the Target Center for a while.
Okay.
Got sick of the weather, the winters, and around 20, 21 years old, my friends, I was just complaining about the winters, and everyone's like, "You don't like it, leave." So I was like, "That's a good idea." And I drove to North Carolina. So I went down south. I went from porridge too cold to porridge too hot. And then I went to Seattle, where the porridge was just wet. And then from Seattle down to L.A.
Okay. Nice.
How long you been in LA?
Kind of been about 2 years now, on and off. First time I went down there was about 3 years ago, and then I was just visiting for a week at a time. And then moved down there about 2 years ago. Came back to Minnesota for a few months. Went back to L.A. last March, and I've been out there ever since. So been there a full year and living in my car. So it's been a fun year.
So that's true. You actually are living out of your car?
100% true.
That's
People are in
awesome.
L.A. and they want to stop by the Universal Fitness Gym parking lot. They can probably see me at 5 a.m.
That's awesome.
sleeping in the front seat of a Chevy Cruze.
You know, when you're famous, though, dude, you're gonna remember those times as that'll be a cherished memory.
Yeah.
The idea is to have my Chevy Cruze built into a room of my house, like an upstairs room, that it would, as the house is being constructed, you have to, lower the car into it. And you can't bring it out at any point. It's just in my office. I'll go sit in there and hang out and my own safe space.
Yeah, that's where you go. That's where you go when the money and the fame is getting to your head. You go back to the Chevy Cruze to humble yourself and remind yourself where you came from.
Yeah, that and Hollywood Boulevard. I'll just go back out and I'll put on my shredder costume and stand on Hollywood Boulevard and let people say they don't want pictures for a while. That'll be a comforting.
Do you really put on a shredder costume and go hang out?
I've seen pictures.
I did last year.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you go just scare people?
He posted some throwback pictures.
He mugs people.
Yeah. Just standing out there with all the costume characters right in front of the the Man's Chinese Theater, and which is now the TCL Theater, or the Dolby Theater. You stand in front of there, and just people come up to you, and you take a picture, and they give you a donation, and they leave. And yeah.
Where the fuck did you get a Shredder costume?
My uncle, actually, he works for, he has his own production company, Morning Star Productions, where he has, actually, a little plug for him, there's a YouTube show called Gerbil, I think it's called, and it's hilarious. Gerbils, maybe. But he did, like, the prop design. So years ago, I just asked him to make me a Shredder costume, because I wanted to win a Halloween costume contest. And
so it's a good one.
Yeah, no one has Shredder, you know, so I got a really good. He modeled it after Shredder 2 from Secret of the Ooze, so it looks just like that version. And
Fritzy's looking for it right now.
Yeah, it's legit when you see it. It's pretty cool. But the thing is on Hollywood Boulevard, it wasn't a good costume because it scared kids because Shredder has no sense of humor.
Yeah,
he's just a murderous ninja.
You're like covered in blades.
I was just gonna say, I went to New York City 2 years ago and did the whole Times Square thing, and they had all the guys dressed up to do, the picture thing, but I didn't see a Shredder. Because...
No, there's never. I was the only Shredder on Hollywood Boulevard. I'm a trendsetter, record holder, I guess.
Maybe if you would have been eating some pizza in your Shredder costume, you wouldn't
I got the
seemed
mask.
as fearful.
Yeah, you
can't eat through the helmet.
You could cut out a little pizza eating hole.
There's things I could have done different, but I would rather just not stand on the boulevard.
Oh wow, that is a good Shredder costume. Damn. Yeah, you should get like some turtles or something and involve them in.
I hung out with a Michelangelo that's out there, and he had a really. There's actually a picture on my Instagram somewhere that someone posted. The caption says, "Whoever the son was, hanging with OG Shredder and a bootleg Michelangelo." Because the costume wasn't that great, but kids would rather take pictures with that, and the Shredder they just didn't want. I don't know. They're too afraid.
What if you get like 4 dudes to dress up like the early Renaissance painters, all those actual Michelangelo and Donatello, and you could just fight them on the street?
That'd be funny.
You could have a Van Gogh with a missing ear.
No, it's got to be Michelangelo and the actual Renaissance dudes.
Oh, all the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, but not the actual turtles. The actual.
No, I know.
The guys they were named after,
yeah.
Raphael.
Yeah, that's funny.
Donatello, Michelangelo.
Was there an actual Raphael and Donatello though?
I don't know. And who's Leonardo? Is it Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Michelangelo, the guy who painted the Sistine Chapel, I think.
No, he did.
Yeah.
But then I don't know who the other
two are. I
don't know
either. There's somebody. Anyways.
That's what I did, and then I do background acting, and I was a pro wrestler for a while.
Yeah, I need to hear about this wrestling situation.
Yeah, what the hell?
What was your wrestling name?
What was that?
What was your wrestling name? What was your?
Yeah, I didn't have a cool, like, intimidating name. I just went. My first wrestling name was Chase Helms. So my actual name is Darrin Anthony, but as a pro wrestler, that didn't sound like a cool wrestling name.
Right.
So I changed it to Chase Helms, and then I moved to North Carolina, where there's a wrestler named Shane Helms who wrestles in the big time stuff. He's from there, and they were like, "Well, is that your real last name?" I was like, "No." So they're like, "Well, maybe don't use his last name in his backyard. People will compare you to him." So I wanted to keep the Chase, because my finishing move I called the cut to the chase. So as a homage to Chevy Chase, I named myself Darrin Chase, and I was a pro wrestler under the name Darrin Chase for a while. So when I signed up for comedy, it was kind of like, it seems more like a Darrin Chase kind of thing instead of Darrin Anthony. So signed up as Darrin Chase, and that's just a simpler name to go under, because Anthony's always misspelled, and everyone wants to add an H. It's Antony, so I just kind of stuck with that as a stage name, and that was my wrestling name for a while. And yeah, no cool flashy stuff, but I was a jobber that would be really good at making people look like they were beating someone up pretty bad.
Yeah. What was your signature move?
The cut to the chase.
The cut to the chase, and what that was I would grab someone and kind of flip them over to where they're hooked underneath my arm, looking upwards. They're kind of bent backwards under my arm, and then I would take my other hand and I would cut over and elbow drop them to the ground. So it just drives the wind out of your chest. Yeah, just slice them in the throat. You're not tapping out after a slice to the throat. You're not kicking out. Yeah.
Pro wrestling is real, folks.
Yeah, it's totally real. Just like everything else.
So yeah, that was the
how the
first
hell
thing.
Did you get into that?
Met a guy that had a pro wrestling ring in a barn in Savea, Minnesota, just 10 miles outside of Wilmer.
Oh, Minnesota.
And me and some friends went and just wrestled around in that barn, and then I just kept finding other training facilities, and they would throw me in their matches because I knew what I was doing. So there's a few matches on YouTube if you look up Darrin Chase, TCW.
I saw a couple. There was one that said it had the Helms name. I didn't know that was you.
Yeah. Yep. It's a tag team match. There's another guy that uses the name Chase Helms, and it's like this openly gay wrestler. So, and I don't know if his name is actually Chase Helms or whatever. But I'm like, I'm glad I changed it. But yes, I used that name because my ring gear got stolen. My gear. This is what I've learned since is don't put your name on your tights, because if you change your gimmick, it's costly. But I had some ring gear that said Chase on the back of it, and that got stolen out of my car. So
did you have a stalker?
Maybe. I wish I could see the look in their face, and they realized they just stole a bunch of tights with Chase on the ass. But,
yeah, dude. They probably had some kind of creepy fetish. They stole your shit, and they put it on some like dummy doll that they made out of your hair.
It was written on the ass part of the tights. It was written on the ass part?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's even better.
I chased that ass all night long.
Ass chase.
So yeah, that was the wrestling thing, and they kind of stopped just because I watched the movie The Wrestler, and I didn't want to live that lifestyle. But a lot of pro wrestlers turned comics. Rob Van Dam, Roddy Piper did it for a while. A few other guys on the indie circuit do comedy now.
Huh, interesting.
Roddy Piper did?
He was
in an episode of Sunny in Philadelphia.
Roddy?
Did you ever see that?
His name is on the Comedy Store wall.
Really?
Yeah, they put it on there, and he wouldn't really do stand-up. He would just kind of tell stories, and Piper's Pit, his whole thing in pro wrestling was kind of a stand-up mentality. So once they put his name on the wall, he kind of felt that he insulted comedy. So he stopped doing comedy, and he started just playing the piano to bring people up. And they wouldn't even let the crowd know that Roddy Piper was off to the side playing piano.
Really?
You just have no idea. Yeah. And he was it was like a Monday night. Monday night, he's just off to the side, happily playing, knowing that no one knows it's him because no one's looking at the piano guy. And just off to the side, just having a blast.
What a badass.
Yeah, such a nice guy.
He died, didn't he?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I got to meet him at the Comedy Store before he died, but about a year before he died. But yeah, he was very beloved there. A lot of people, a lot of pro wrestling fans in comedy, I found out. So.
Wow, so Mickey Rourke made you quit wrestling and turn to comedy.
Oh, that movie is too accurate. You get paid nothing, and you're putting your body on the line in front of people that still want it to be real, and you're like, come on, man. You're looking around, and you're like, oh, man, these are the people that are first in line at Walmart. I don't want to get dropped in my neck in front of these people.
Plus, it's like a lot of hard work, too, and time and energy spent.
Yeah, and you got to work out, and you got to eat right, all for just a few minutes of fame. When you can get the same kind of notoriety, if not more, of stand-up comedy. And you can impact people's life in a much more positive way than as a pro wrestler.
So, how do you go from pro wrestling to comedy? What made you take that jump?
I didn't know that I wanted to be a comic right away. It was one of those things that was always so far away, like guys like Jim Carrey. As a kid, I liked Bill Cosby himself, that special, and all these kind of things I grew up on that I never thought it was something I could do. And I was in Seattle, and honestly, it's a really cool, intertwined, small world story because I was living in North Carolina, and I kind of my first comedy fans that I was a fan of when I was in high school was like Mitch Hedberg, Stephen Lynch, Nick Swartzen, you guys like that. And then I listened to them a little bit, kind of faded away from comedy, got back into it in like 2006 because of Joe Rogan, 2006, 2007, when he called out Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
And that opened my eyes, like, oh, who's the Fear Factor guy is going nuts on this guy out. Okay, and then I looked into Rogan, which is a DMT, that whole world that he was talking about, and kind of really opened my mind to that. Moved to Seattle, was out there for a few years, and then I started going to an open mic in Seattle at the Comedy Underground and seeing people that are around like my status, if not younger, if not newer, and I was like, they're doing it. I wonder if there's something I really can do. And I saw Duncan Trussell on a Joe Rogan podcast talking about how he was going to be in Seattle doing comedy.
I love that.
So I went to go see Duncan, and I talked to him after the show, and I was like, kind of asked him, hey, what got you into comedy? And he was like, he basically said, hey man, if you're living in Seattle, get your medical marijuana card, read the Bhagavad Gita, and do what you do if you weren't afraid, man. And I was like, that doesn't. At first, it didn't really help, but I was like, I kind of thought it over, and there was a point.
That was a decent Duncan Trussell impression.
Yeah, that was.
Do that again. Do that again, real quick.
Well, here's the funny part. When I got to LA and after I applied all that stuff that Duncan told me, I said, "Hey man, you told me this, this, and this." He goes, "Yeah, man, that sounds like me."
That's perfect. Oh, that's awesome.
But so he told me all that, and I'd go to the open mic, and I was just like, I'm working on my 3 minutes. I kept telling the door guy, I'm working on my 3 minutes, and then all this stuff is happening, and I ended up on a podcast with Joe Rogan's message board moderators. They called it the Modcast. And I was listening to a podcast, and they just had some background noise. Here they're in Seattle, and I just wrote in, and I was like, hey, man, I had no idea who they were, really. I was like, if you're in Seattle, I'll come in and talk pro wrestling, and I'll smoke some weed with you guys and whatever. And the one guy that read my message invited me onto the podcast. I'm on the podcast. I'm looking around, and I see this one guy that I recognize. I was like, hey, you've opened for Joe Rogan. And they were like, he goes, yeah. I don't do comedy anymore. The other three guys, they said, we're trying to get him to do comedy again. If you do comedy, we'll do comedy. I looked at them. I go, you guys aren't comedians? You're just going to sign up? They're like, yeah. I go, dude, if you guys sign up, I'll sign up. So I shook their hands, made a pact then. Months went by, and I was flat broke, no money, downtown Seattle. On a Monday night, realized, oh, there's an open mic tonight. Oh, shoot, I can't get in. I don't have $5. Went to hang out outside the Comedy Underground, see those same three guys walking in, and I was like, I'll ask them for $5. Same guy that invited me to the podcast looks at me, he goes, hey, are you signing up tonight? I was like, oh, I get in for free if I sign up, right? And he was like, yeah. So I signed up, and that was the first time I signed up for comedy. That guy that said that, are you signing up tonight, that invited me onto the podcast, is the same guy that first gave Joe Rogan DMT ever. So the whole kickstart to what got my mind opened up, I'm now friends with that guy in a really weird connecting way where I'm like, how the fact that our paths crossed that many times.
Yeah.
And now, I've been doing comedy for 4 years. I've got to perform in front of Joe Rogan. I've got to, perform with people I never thought I'd perform with. And it's been a crazy ride ever since I kind of just started taking the Duncan Trussell approach of just doing what I'd do if I wasn't afraid,
That's a beautiful little quote.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice and simple, powerful.
And you got to perform in front of Joe in January just recently, right?
Yeah, for the Kill Tony podcast.
Yeah, how was that? Pretty
That's cool. I honestly didn't think I was going to be going up. I've been putting my name in that bucket for a while. I know Tony and Brian Redband just from hanging out at the Comedy Store and being out back, and I just for some reason I was kind of thinking like they kind of pick and choose who they want to. They'll draw a name, but it's kind of rigged, not to out that whole gimmick. But I was kind of thinking like if they draw my name, they're probably not going to call me up. Just your own self-doubt. So I'm sitting at the bottom of the stairs in the back in the kitchen of the Comedy Store underneath. So they're doing the podcast up in the belly room upstairs. And I'm downstairs just waiting for them to call the next name that wasn't going to be me so I can go up front and get my chicken strips. And I hear, oh, we know this guy. And I was like, well, it can't be me because I haven't been on the show in over a year. And, he goes, all right, give it up for Darrin Chase. I just ran up the stairs like, oh, jeez. So I was so out of breath when I got up there. I just did my first minute of my act generally that I open up with, and It went well. And, Joe specifically said he liked my pothole joke, which was really cool.
Yeah, the pothole joke.
Yeah, that one, I was very happy he liked that one. I've been saying it since before I became a comedian, but I didn't know if other people had said it also, because I've never heard it, but it feels like such an obvious thing. Mm-hmm. And, Joe sitting there, he was like, that pothole joke is a good joke. I was like, oh, cool. That gave me a lot of confidence now. Thank you. Kind of the reason I started comedy here. And if you give me a little bit of a kick in the butt on that and saying it's good, then all right, I'm doing the right thing. But yeah, that was fun. The post interview kind of got a little off track because there's so many other people putting their 2 cents in. But yeah. I didn't get to talk about DMT like I wanted to with Joe. But there'll be another day for that.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome though. Very cool.
Cool.
So how many? What are you at as far as like minutes that you've got for material for stand up? Are you at like 5 minutes, or do you kind of alternate between different sets or whatever? Like, what do you got going on?
I've done 70 minutes.
70? Okay.
Yeah, in Laughlin, I was supposed to be the feature act doing 20, and the headliner didn't show up. So right before I went up, they're like, "Well, if he shows up during your set, we'll let you know that if he's not here now, he's not performing." And they go, "Can you do 45?" I was like, "I'll be all right." And my tape cut out at a half hour, but I timed it by the time I got up, it was an hour 10 minutes.
Holy shit!
Wow. And I kept, all but two people. 2 people left. They didn't like some of my jokes. Fine, but
how much of that 70 minutes was you crying and yelling at the crowd?
Yeah, I don't do crowd work. It's not like I have extremely tight material, but I have topics that I can work into stuff. On those longer sets, I have some looser ideas that I'll kind of dive into. But like tonight, I did a half hour. Last night was a half hour. Nice. I'm pretty confident with a half hour. Where last night's set and tonight's set weren't the same. I did some jokes tonight I didn't do last night. That if I threw in the jokes from last night, I could have hit 45 minutes tonight. Mm-hmm. So I have the material, which is hard for a lot of people to accept when I tell them I've only been doing comedy for 4 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like, yeah, okay, sure you do, because there's a lot of people you meet when they're new, and they think just because they have an idea that that's a minute worth of material. They go, oh, I got these like 30 things, so I have like a half hour I could do, and you're like, well, you're going to get on stage and realize that that's going to go really quickly. But I've proven it. I've headlined up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. There's a bar that's brought me back to headline 3 different times, and I've got to do like a few different shows where I've been the headlining act on like smaller road shows, but doing 45 minutes to close out a thing, and pretty fun. So
yeah, boy.
Trying to get that name out there a little more and get people to know that that's possible. But I figure if I start featuring for a touring headliner, that's the start.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like in Laughlin, when they're like, oh, the headliner isn't coming, but if he comes, we'll let you know. Like they wanted you to go on stage and just start doing your thing, and then if he showed up, be like, oh, he's here now, and you exit left. Like what was
yeah,
that?
They're like, okay, well, we'll let you know at 20 minutes if he's here, and then you can just wrap up your set and bring him up. No. I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, thank you though.
Gotta adapt and overcome.
Yeah, but
it's not like
on
time,
he gets
then
to
I'm doing his time.
Yeah, show up whenever he feels like, and then you have to like delete what you're doing. Nope.
Let's pause. Yeah. Let's pause real quick.
Oh yeah, we should probably pause
so that we can hear a word from our sponsor.
Shut up!
Hey, this is Frenzy here to talk to you about National Survival Center. This is the place where you can purchase all of your outdoor camping gear and supplies, survival kits, disaster preparedness supplies, bug out bags, and even survival food. All with some of the lowest prices on the internet and free shipping on almost everything. You can depend on National Survival Center to provide you with the highest quality gear paired with superior customer service. And when you purchase your gear from National Survival Center, you're not only getting a great product, but you're receiving products that have all been hand tested to ensure that they'll be reliable, durable, and that they'll function properly. So whether you need some gear for a family camping adventure, or maybe you want to stock up for the zombie apocalypse, National Survival Center can provide you with the quality products you're looking for. You can find them at www.nationalsurvivalcenter.com or www.survivedon'tsuffer.com. Either way, don't suffer. Make sure you survive.
I just moved here from Minnesota. I'm killing it as a comic right now. I know that because I live in my car.
Chase.
Welcome back. All right, what were we talking about?
We were talking about if
Darrin's tight 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 to 70 minutes.
It's tight like a
situations.
Tiger. Yeah.
Like a toy gun.
Killing this hour set out here.
You know what I want to know about? I want to know about this Little Caesars campaign. Your unofficial, unofficial ambassador.
Yeah.
Of Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Yeah, I'm gunning for that sponsorship. I gotta get them. They're following me on Twitter. They're retweeting some of my stuff. They don't retweet as much as I'd like them to retweet, but they like all my stuff.
I have some input for you regarding that. Do you want to know what it is?
A toga?
Yeah.
I think you should incorporate some crazy bread situations in your advertising / picture social media. I mean, some people just go there for the crazy bread.
Yeah, it's not all about the hot and readies, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Yeah. They got the wings and they got all that stuff. But,
yeah, they're expanding that menu.
But crazy bread's kind of like their second tiered option, maybe. I mean, you have pizza.
Yeah, I might incorporate that.
Yeah, I think you should. Just see what happens.
You got to mix it up.
Yeah.
So why Little Caesars? Like how did this whole thing? Like, for those out there listening who don't know, you've basically you're doing like these ads that you've created yourself as the spokesperson for Little Caesars.
He's just basically said, I'm going to be the sponsor, and just took it in his own hands and was like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you should just like it because this is my job now.
Yeah, exactly. It started kind of as a joke, where I was just like, I wanted to be some kind of spokesperson, and I was literally living off Little Caesars because it's all I could afford living out of my car. I got $5 for a large pizza, and what I would do, and I now that I'm working a little more, and I'm not as broke as I was before, so I'm a little more bold with how I spend my money. But what I was doing before was I'd get a large pizza, eat 4 slices of it, have 4 slices left over, and then I'd microwave 2 slices later and then 2 slices later. So I'd get 3 meals out of it, and 2 of those meals would suck.
You got a microwave in your car?
No, I go to 7-Eleven.
Chevy Cruze comes with microwaves now.
What the
heck?
I need to get me one of those.
I want a microwave in my car.
So I was living off the Little Caesars, where it was literally what was keeping me afloat for a meal a day or 2 meals a day.
Ooh.
And I just jokingly was telling a friend, like, I'm just going to start taking pictures with their product because it was such a silly thing. Like, they don't need the promotion. Obviously, it's $5 for a pizza.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of a serious joke. And now a lot of people, if I don't post stuff, people will come up to me and say, hey, man, what happened to where's the pizza pictures? So I'm like, I'm kind of obligated. And now that they want me to get sponsored, so I'm hoping that they bring me on. But I'm willing to put my efforts towards anyone else that is willing to work with me.
Yeah.
So I'm a whore for anyone that's willing to pay me, not just Little Caesars.
He'll sell that ass to anybody.
I think a good fit if you ever move back to Minnesota is a Quick Trip.
He's never coming back.
He might.
He is never coming back.
He might have a cabin later when he's like rich.
He's gonna come back and party.
Yeah.
You're never gonna move back here, are you?
But Quick Trip.
Oh, I don't want to. No.
Yeah,
if I did,
I
would think about opening a comedy store in Wilmer. Actually, a comedy club. I have a perfect spot that I'd want to open a comedy club there if I did move back. But
yeah, they don't really.
That's just the last ditch.
And just live in the summer. Don't
it'd be
winter.
Nice to jump around. But do you guys know Doug Stanhope? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
He had his whole, and I think he still does it. But he was doing Pop-Off vodka, where he would go on stage and he'd have a little banner and he'd talk about Pop-Off vodka as if they were his sponsor. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna do that with Little Caesars. So it was kind of like I said, it started as a joke that people are kind of locking me into. But I really do like their pizza, their sauce. I eat their pizza regularly.
Yeah. It kept you alive.
yeah. Surprisingly,
we're gonna start harassing Little Caesars too.
Yeah.
Please,
totally.
I've actually asked people that have started messaging them. Yeah.
Let's tweet some shit to Little Caesars.
We're gonna get a massive online
petition.
Petition.
Agreed.
Get me in their commercial. I'll do it.
And
I don't mind.
One of the stipulations in the contract is that you get a lifetime supply of pizza and Crazy Bread.
I'm impressed they haven't sent me at least a gift card.
I
know, come on,
right?
Man. I have a friend that he sent something to the Waffle House, and they sent him a $100 gift card.
Really?
It's like, yeah, he only posted like a little bit on Twitter. It was like, oh, the Waffle House is awesome. They're like, thanks for your support. Here's this.
Waffle House is so
and I retweeted that. I retweeted that to Little Caesars. I was like, hey, do you guys see what people are doing for people that support people? And they never got back to me.
Like, we're good.
But they still follow me.
We are so flush with cash after this $5 hot and ready thing went into effect.
Yep.
They don't even have a spokesperson, do they? They need somebody.
No.
I don't know. I wonder if it's a franchise thing, too. I wonder if
they're all independently owned,
yeah. Like a...
But they still have, they still have...
Well, yeah, they still have their brand.
They still market
corporate, right.
Headquarters is in Detroit, so one of these days I'll make it to Detroit, and I'm going to take a picture in front of the headquarters, and then I'll send that to them, like, hey, I'm here. Let me in.
Yeah, and then tie yourself to a tree outside the building.
Exactly.
If you don't let me in, I'm going to order Domino's delivery in front of your building. Or Pizza Select.
They'll regret it when Domino's signs you.
You know what's funny is as a pro wrestler, when I grew up in high school, I ate nothing but not Schwann's. It's Schwann's, but it's Red Baron. The Red Baron pizzas. So they have those mini pizzas.
Little Caesars is listening. They're gonna hear you, dude.
Well. So my first request as a sponsor for pizza, this is before I did comedy, it was to Red Baron, and I emailed them. I said, "Hey, as a professional wrestler, I am willing to use the gimmick Darrin the Red Baron and hit people over the head with frozen pizzas." And they replied back. They said, "We'll forward this on to the department that it matters," and I never heard back from them. But I was so sold on being Darrin the Red Baron.
Damn it, that would have been awesome.
I'd grow the mustache out,
with frozen
come
pizzas.
Come out with a scarf, have the little
goggles.
arrow, the goggles, the little helmet thing, and
the bomber
hit people
jacket.
with pizza, just frisbee a pizza at someone from the entrance. There's so much you could do as Darrin the Red Baron.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
But Little Caesars will be second place if I get that.
You should put together some promotional videos or something. Have you done that?
No, that's what I've been told I need to do videos, and all the pictures I take my own. I just set up my camera and I do little screenshots of videos I do, but I haven't ventured into like doing commercials or doing videos. I'm like a little behind the times in that technology, so I might start doing videos
nowadays.
Yeah.
Maybe
a toga would help too.
Just put that.
That's right. Yeah, that's the idea.
It's all about content,
Caesar.
man. Just put content out there. Just as much. Anytime you think of some shit, just put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go to Egypt too and stand in front of the Sphinx or the pyramids and then eat some Little Caesars.
You got the time. You're living the life of a comedian. You got time.
I mean, like I said, my last name's Antony, and Antony and Cleopatra.
Right.
And Mark Antony was a second cousin of Julius Caesar, so
there's
probably a connection here with Little Caesars that they need to know about. I might actually be a blood relative of the namesake,
You got marinara sauce in your blood.
His blood is marinara sauce.
But yeah.
You're living in LA, loving life, living the life of a comedian, sleeping out of your car.
Pretty much, the gist of it. I hang out at the Comedy Store on the regular. I do some road gigs here and there, and then background acting. And
how often are you getting on stage? Are you going in like every single night?
Yeah. If I'm not booked on something, I'm doing open mics and hustling that way. If I take a night off, it's rare, but generally well needed. And if I take a night off, I've probably done a mic 3 nights. I'll do like a night where I hit 3 mics in a night, or 2 to 3 here and there. So I try to get about at least 7 times a week minimum, which is very doable in LA.
Okay.
But most of the time in LA, you're performing in front of 6 comics that are waiting to go up themselves, and they've heard every joke, they've heard your jokes, they know what's coming, and so you can't really. It's not a good feeling. Sometimes you do listen to these mics, so it's like you got to find the ones that are beneficial. So I'll drive out to like an area where there's actually people in a bar, and doing comedy for people that are playing pool is more fun than doing comedy for comics. So that kind of helps when you come to a town like Shakopee and there's 8 people in the crowd that are actually wanting to see you, and it's like, oh, all right, this makes this a little better. But yeah, you hit those spots in LA, and it can be depressing, but it's also it makes people tough. I went to New York for a week, hit some mics out there, and plan is to move out there here soon, and you can hit a lot more mics than a night out in New York, obviously. So trying to stay moving and never to work a day job again is the plan.
Yeah, fuck a day job.
Totally.
Fuck it hard. What? So, the very first time that you decided you were going to get into comedy, where was that first time you got on stage?
The Comedy Underground in Seattle. I had to follow probably about 5 comics after Ty Barnett, who was last comic standing, like finalist, if not a winner or something.
Okay.
Professional comic, and he went up and just crushed it. And then a bunch of people left because they were like, okay, no more comedy, it's going to be better after this. And then there was a few more comics and then me. So I went up to a pretty empty room, and it was supposed to be 3 minutes, but for some reason I had 4.5, and that wasn't because I ran the light. They didn't light me until a minute. I got off a minute in the light. So they just maybe forgot to light me, or it wasn't that I was crushing, but I have my video my first time still online, and it was pretty bad. But I was proud of it. Even as bad as it was, I was proud that I got up on stage. I was showing people. I was like, hey, look at this. And they're like, why? Yeah, okay, cool. I was like, no, I got on stage. Like, I did it. And it was just, I kind of always have had the mentality of, no matter how I feel about my act now, 5 years from now, I'll look back and go, oh man, I can't believe I was doing blank. Oh man, I'm glad I've done this since then. Or, oh man, So I've never wanted to I always feel like I know what I'm talking about at the moment. Because down the line, you're always learning. So I've never been locked into if I did bad or whatever. I just kind of always want to keep moving. But that first time on stage, I was, as a pro wrestler, I never cut promos. I was never a public speaker. I didn't like doing that in high school. I didn't like doing it in wrestling. And then as a comedian, it was just, I was happy that you couldn't see the crowd because the lights were so bright. It was just, you're up in your own little world. And I would throw up before going on stage. My first year of doing comedy, I would puke before going on stage every time. And it wasn't so much that I was nervous about like being in front of people. It was just like trying to think of my act. And also now I got to go up in front. It was a combination of stuff. So I've since stopped worrying so much, and I don't think about what I'm going to say until I get on stage, and
stop throwing
gotten
up.
a lot more comfortable.
Damn.
Yeah, I haven't thrown up at all. I don't get
Good.
nervous in front. Now, if no matter when or where I'm at, if you were to say, "Hey, there's a crowd in front of people, you want to go up and do an act?" I can do it right then and there.
Yeah.
That was never who I was 5 years ago. I could not do public speaking at all.
Yeah, it's
that
intimidating.
first time was. If you really feel like that's what you're meant to, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like comedy is so it's the last true form of free speech. So as long as you're good at that, you can always be yourself and say what you feel, and no one can really be mad at it because.
Yeah, but you still get people that are pissed off about some of the shit that comedians say.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean,
if you're big
people
enough,
are so. Yeah, they're PC, and everyone wants to be a victim, and everyone wants to support the victims, and this person might have been offended if they were here, so you shouldn't have said that. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Do you have any reason to be offended personally? Then why are you getting involved? Back off. Whatever.
Usually it's not somebody who's actually personally offended by something you say. It's them defending some other faction that they feel they need to be, a bodyguard for.
So dumb.
Yeah, it's like they feel like, oh, I would never say this, so you shouldn't say this. Like, well, maybe you should try saying something like that. Maybe you should, speak your mind and not be weak about how you feel about stuff. And
Right.
Maybe people should have a better sense of humor about their situation instead of being so offended.
Mm-hmm.
When we're all just kind of in this together to be as lighthearted as possible. It's like some of my acts. I have jokes where I will kind of dig at religion a little bit, And I'm impressed sometimes with the people that will actually laugh at the jokes. When I go into it, I'm thinking, ooh, these people are going to be really mad. And the people I assume are not going to laugh are the ones laughing the hardest, because they're just happy that someone finally went there. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've always been wanting to say this.
Right.
So I think the people that get offended, the people or that get mad at you saying it, are like, they're just not willing to do what they're, the whole do what you do if you weren't afraid,
Yeah.
So I think, well, just because I'm not willing to say that, you shouldn't be willing to say that either. That's just me, and these people would be offended. It's like, for the most part, the people you think are offended are actually happy you're poking fun at them.
Exactly. Well, I think it's a lot of people take things too personal. Like, you're not attacking when you make a joke or a bit about somebody. It's not like you're attacking them personally. But I feel like people, that's another big part of why they get so huffy puffy about things that are said.
There's too many damn whiners.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. We have too much access to emotion nowadays. Emojis and all this stuff like that. We have way too much access to other people's feelings on Facebook and all that, where you can look and, see how people want to react, and you go, oh, well, they would react this way, so I have to, stand up for them. It's like, we got to get rid of this victim culture. There was a guy I saw on a news program, like a midday talk show, and he was like some kind of a palsy or some kind of any other stutter, visibly handicapped guy, talking about how he was picked on in school, talking about how he was bullied and all this stuff. But he was also in some big TV show. He was on Breaking Bad or Walking Dead or one of these big shows, and on this daytime talk show, where I'm just thinking, well, you've made it. You're successful, and you were bullied. So instead of talking about wanting to eliminate bullies, why don't you talk about how you made it and how you overcame that? And why don't you give that mentality? Why don't you tell people how you became successful? And if you really want to stop bullying, take this money you're making, give it to the inner cities where people can treat their families better, and they don't have, shitty kids that go to school and want to bully somebody. You can't stop it. You just have to be proactive. And if people knew how to overcome, they might not be as afraid to be attacked. If someone knew how to have a snappy response when someone made fun of them, they might go, yeah, call me what you want to call me, because I can get right back at you.
Yeah, if I were that kid,
and it's one of those things.
If I were that kid, I would go and buy every single one of his bullies a brand new car and be like, here you go, bitch.
Right.
I just bought you a car.
Yeah. I mean, there's that story of that guy that befriended KKK members, and they stopped becoming KKK members. A black guy that was just, started being nice to people, and they're like, oh, okay, you guys aren't people to fear. It's like, if you're friendly, you can make things happen in positive ways. I just think that the whole victim culture needs to go away, and people need to be more proactive about really how to overcome.
Yeah, everyone needs to know how to defend themselves. That's how you get rid of bullies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Learn a little jiu-jitsu or something. Even if you're a little dude, get picked on one time.
Yep.
Won't get picked on anymore.
Especially if you have nunchucks.
I knew Taekwondo as a kid. As a kid,
nunchucks is cool.
I was never picked on because people thought I was crazy with the pro wrestling and Taekwondo, and I was like, I'm not the kind of guy that was actually going to fight.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have the energy to fight for the most part, but you just have to know that someone's willing to or trained. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
People knew that you would cut straight to the chase with them if they fucked with you. Watch out for that dude. Fucking Rochambeau, yeah.
Yeah, this Red Baron scarf.
Yeah, that's why people were so freaked. That nobody fucked with you because you were walking around school in a bomber jacket, a scarf, goggles on, slamming people in the head with frozen pizzas.
Yeah, Snoopy in your back
Darrin,
pocket.
the Red Baron.
I always loved that Snoopy, the Peanuts cartoon with Snoopy as the Red Baron. They always did those little clips when you were a kid. Remember those?
So adorable. Yeah.
Shut up.
There's this joke I heard you do. I think it might have been an Acme, where you're talking about, and I want to know if this is a true story, that you're talking about this time that Prince walked by you.
Yeah, totally true story. I told the story on stage tonight, actually.
Was that when you were at Target? When you were working at Target Center?
Yeah. It was the Wizards were in town, and earlier that day, I got into an argument with Patrick Ewing because I'm not good with celebrities, and I don't like to just assume people are who I think they are. And I knew Patrick Ewing had retired from the Knicks the year before, so in my mind, he retired from the NBA. He was done. we as a security for the Target Center, we had to check the opposing players' bags.
Really?
Just looking at them, just something simple, because it was after 9/11, and there was this whole security check. It was pretty silly. And for the most part, we weren't really even looking. We just unzip them and just, okay, go ahead. Just a check-in point. And first guy off the bus starts walking towards me, and I recognize him as Patrick Ewing, but I'm like, well, it can't be, because he's retired. So I tell him I got to check his bag, and he starts getting into an argument with me. He's like, well, I'm going to bring a bomb in the building that I'm in. I was like, I don't care who you are, I got to check your bag. And then Michael Jordan walked past, and he had his whole entourage with him. And
you let Jordan through, didn't you?
No. His assistant had his bag, and his assistant knew what to do. So he came up to the table, showed me the bag, and I opened it up. I let him go. So I checked his bag, but Jordan didn't specifically have it. And I looked at Patrick. I go, if you were anybody like that guy, you'd have that situation going on. So I got to check your bag. And Ewing's just staring at me. He goes,
dude.
Shit. And he's slides the bag across the table. I didn't even look down at the bag. I just kept eye contact with Patrick Ewing. Unzipped it, zipped it back up, and I go, you're good. Go ahead.
You were mean mugging Patrick Ewing?
I alphaed Patrick Ewing. And he leaves, and my buddy is standing next to me. I looked at him, I go, who'd that guy think he was? My buddy's like, Patrick Ewing. I'm like, there's no way. No. He retired for the Knicks. Who was that? He goes,
you didn't recognize
the Wizards'
him?
new assistant coach, Patrick Ewing. I was like, oh, shit. So later that night, after the game, guarding the VIP exit, standing next to the same exact friend standing next to me. And as I said in the joke, and I'll say it here, like, a little kid walked past me wearing a velvet outfit and lacy trim and a drawn-on beard. So I nudged the same friend, and I was just thinking, this can't happen 2 times in one day. So I go, who's this kid trying to be? Prince? Everyone froze. They're all like, yeah, dude, that is. So I was still pointing at him. I go, that's Purple Rain? He's so little. I can't believe he dressed like that in public. And then Prince just looking over his shoulder, and he goes, and he walked away. And I did that joke a few months back at Rick McLeod's Comedy Cabaret in Minnesota, and a comic came up to me afterwards, and he was like, hey, that Prince story is real. I was like, yeah. And this is probably just over a year ago. I go, yeah, it's real. He goes, yeah, no, I know it's real because of the reaction. He's like, the way he reacted, he liked you. I was like, what? He's like, I promise. I'm friends with him. He goes, I made fun of him at some function. He's kind of passively made fun of Prince, and Prince's associate came up and asked, this is a comic, hey, come join Prince at his table. He wants to talk to you. And basically Prince was like, hey, I like that you went there and no one ever talks to me like that, blah, blah, blah. And he became friends with him. He's like, I see him every couple months. Next time I see him, I will tell him the story. I promise you'll remember. And it was a couple months later, Prince died. I was like, no! No! Oh, man, that would have been so cool. But, yeah, that was the story of the Prince.
Yeah.
Made fun of Prince
cool.
to his face.
He is a little dude, too. Or was a little dude.
He's so little.
Rest in peace,
tall
Prince.
was he?
Like 5'2".
5'1", 5'2", yeah.
3'1".
No, he wasn't that short.
The podcast. Yeah, he was little. He was wearing high heels, and he was a little guy.
Still little.
He always wore the platform. He's 5'3". He was 5'3".
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was little.
I mean, Michael Jackson was 5'9", so.
Kanye West is little. He's like 5'5", but he's little. I almost knocked him off some stairway in the Target Center.
Really?
Kanye.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's very, very short.
Yeah, he sure has been.
Yeah, he's 5'8".
Oh, really? Maybe they're saying he's taller than he is.
Maybe.
He didn't look 5'8" when I see him.
He's like, yo, man, make sure you put my height about
on Google
5-6 inches taller than it actually is.
Yes, when you Google
he's
my
using the old
shit,
pro
I
wrestler.
look 5'8".
The old pro wrestler technique of adding 3 inches and 30 pounds. That was the old school wrestler mentality of, if you're 6'1", you're 6'4". If you're 210 pounds, you're 240 pounds.
Yeah, you do that in sports, too. I always add about an inch or two in basketball.
Yeah.
That's like girls when they go get their driver's licenses. They're like, I'm like 130.
I'm about 30 pounds lighter than I actually am.
Yeah, like 25 pounds.
What's this you said you did some background acting?
Yeah, I do. Just, little stupid stuff, or, been like, was fresh off the boat or Scandal, and Grey's Anatomy and stuff, but like sometimes you can recognize me, sometimes not. But yeah, it's fun. I like being on set because you get paid the same amount of money to do fake work as people get paid to do real work here in Minnesota, and you get a donut table all day long. So you get to eat free food and do nothing all day, and people complain about it. People that do background will complain about doing stuff. It's like, all you have to do is just be quiet. Why is this such a hard thing? You're getting $10 an hour. Now it's actually more. It's like $12 an hour.
What are they complaining about?
Having to do stuff. People like to have a reason to complain, the whole being a victim, and people like to, there's always something people can find to complain about, and background actors will find that for sure.
Huh. It's like, I was the background actor on Law and Order. I am special.
Oh, my first time doing background, I was on the shuttle on the way to set, and some girl was like, if they don't have coffee here on set, oh my God, it's just going to be, I'm not gonna. It's like, you realize you're a prop, right? It's like, you're not the focal point of today. Yeah.
Thank you, Frenzy. Frenzy's made us some cocktails.
You're welcome. Cocktails.
He was talking about his background acting work.
Oh yeah.
So, are you thinking you want to dip into some actual acting work at some time?
Yeah, I mean, if they, I kind of feel like if Norm Macdonald can act, I can act.
Norm Macdonald.
So I'm not gonna. That's my point. But he's been in stuff. So I figure if they ever want to put me in something because they want to put me in something, cool. But I'm not gonna take a class.
No, don't take a class, dude.
No, I'll never take a class.
We gotta get this dude signed on with Little Caesars.
I know, we're gonna make it happen. When we post this episode, let's tweet Little Caesars with it.
Yeah, we're gonna make Little Caesars hate us.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, fine. God damn it, Darrin Chase, you're our new spokesperson. Congratulations, son of a bitch, you wore us down.
Thank you. I'm down. I will be a whore for whoever wants me to promote their stuff.
Perfect. So who is there?
Stars approved.
Yeah, Stars approved. Is there any comedians that you have enjoyed over the years that you haven't had a chance to see perform stand up before that you'd like to see?
Ooh, honestly, that up until this last weekend, there might have been one. But I just got to see him live, and hopefully, he's amazing. Johnathan was one of the guys that I've always wanted to see when I was younger. Never got to see him. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's the magician comedian. He's
amazing, Johnathan.
Amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. He had his own Vegas show for a while.
Okay.
And then he about
they call him that.
About 3 years ago, he did an emotional farewell to comedy where he had a heart disease where he was dying, and he was told he had 6 months to live, stopped touring, and quit all the stuff. And 2 weeks ago, he decided to go back on tour because he's not dead yet. So he's like, yeah, still alive, let's do this. So I got to see him at the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club, and yeah, that's probably I got to see Mitch Hedberg before he died. Greg Giraldo would definitely be one I wish I would have saw, but he's obviously dead.
Right.
But yeah, there's not, because at the Comedy Store, everyone comes through there. Dave Chappelle comes through there. I'm not a huge Louis C.K. fan. I mean, I respect what he does, but he comes through there. Bill Burr comes through there. I'm more on the Bill Burr side than the Louis C.K. Like I compare Louis C.K. to like a nuclear bomb that went off and like affected a lot of people on every direction for a really long time.
Yeah.
But Bill Burr is like a laser beam that can go in any direction for as long as you want.
Yeah, Bill Burr's
just
one
focus,
of a kind.
Just focus. I love his stuff.
Didn't you do a gig with Sam Tripoli?
Yeah, yep. Tripoli was one of the first guys that was really cool to me in comedy.
Yeah,
and he's on your show soon, right?
Yeah, we had him on.
Yeah, we had him on last week.
A couple episodes ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, he's awesome.
Nice.
He was laying down some life lessons.
Yeah, he was fun.
Tripoli's great, man. He's such a cool guy and like so.
He just seems
so
really
approachable and
really genuine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I met him because of I worked for this weed company called Caviar Gold in Seattle, where we had like oil infused bud that was like really strong.
Nice.
And the friends that got me into comedy, they were, this is Joe Rogan's friends. So Joe was coming into town, and they were like, "Hey, can we get some joints that would impress Joe?" So I gave him those joints. And then Joe went on a rant on his podcast about how he smoked some weed in Seattle that got him really messed up. And he name dropped his friends that gave him the joint, so I knew specifically the weed I gave him.
That was your weed.
And he was like, he was like Sam Tripoli was baked on his mind. So my first time I went to LA, I didn't really know Sam Tripoli. I couldn't really pick him out of a lineup, but I knew him, but I didn't know him. So I walked past him in the hallway, and I was like, that looks like a guy I recognize. So I pulled up Sam Tripoli, and it was him, and it's on the internet. So I went up to him and I went, "Hey, you smoked this weed with Joe in Seattle. Do you want to smoke another joint? I have a joint of it." He was like, No, that's cool. I don't really smoke that much, but so you're from Seattle, huh? I'm gonna be performing up there soon. I was like, "Oh, cool." He goes, "Do you know any comics up there?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a comic." He goes, "Oh, cool. I might need some help." And I ended up emceeing his show and picked him up from the train station and stuff. And
Nice.
yeah, he was so cool, and and since then he's like kind of looked out for me a little bit in LA, and kind of the guy that when I see him, he's like, "Stay in the pocket, buddy. Stay in the pocket. You got this." Always just shooting some positive advice over, and but yeah, he's a genuine guy. So glad to see that he's getting some opportunities like the court ordered and all that stuff working out for him and stuff now, and getting. But it's interesting to see people like that, like that a guy like a Tripoli or guys that hang at the store that are friends with people that are millionaires in comedy, and they're still trying to find the thing that's going to get them to the next level. And you go, okay, this isn't an overnight game, and there's people that are really should be big time that still aren't household names somehow. And you see a guy like Sam, and he can rock any crowd, and he's dirty, but he's fun. And he gets people laughing at stuff that you're like, wow, why am I laughing at this?
Mm-hmm.
And, it's impressive how many people don't know him, or how many people don't know, like, one of my favorite comics to watch is Rick Ingram. He's in the comedy store, and he's just crowd work. He just crowd work. And you'll never see him on TV because you can't trust his act for TV quality, but if you see him live, he'll kill every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but me and Frenzy were just talking about this earlier. Like, you don't have to be a Louis C.K. or a Joe Rogan to make good money in comedy.
Right, that's the beautiful thing about comedy, too, is you can choose if you want to do crowd work or not, or you can choose if you don't want to involve the crowd at all, or there's so many different variables that you get to pick what you want to do, and that's the beauty of it.
The problem with crowd work comics, though, is, like, you're not going to get a TV spot.
Right.
Like, if you only do crowd work, like, you just, like, the industry can go, hey, we can't trust what you're going to say, and, even though you do crush, what if someone in the crowd doesn't say the right thing? What if you can't find the person to make this joke about? So it's really hard, so you have to have those, like, if you want to get TV notoriety, you have to have that act that, like, you can just jump into and it's going to work, and it's like, so it can keep some of those people out of the public eye, but, yeah, you can make a living in comedy without being a household name, or even once you hit some of the tours, some of the, if you want to be a road guy, or merchandise is really where it seems like the money,
Merch.
In pro wrestling, that's where the money was selling T-shirts and pictures, and I think in comedy that's the same avenue.
Yeah, you got any merch?
I got some bumper stickers I sell. I didn't sell any tonight or last night.
What do they say?
What do you charge?
Watch out for the pothole.
I want my T-shirt to be my pothole T-shirt. But the bumper stickers are my Backstreet Boys. Hey, now that you're legal, do you remember us tour?
And then I have the.
I have the Sticks and Stones, Rock So Hard You'll Break Bones bumper sticker also.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's another good one that he talking about. He was saying how come the Rolling Stones and Styx haven't done a tour together? The Sticks and Stones tour.
Yeah,
that's so hard to break your bones, but our words will never hurt you.
Yeah.
Well, I did see Styx at the Minnesota State Fair like 2 years ago, and they're old as fuck, so they probably couldn't keep up with the Stones anyway.
Yeah, they're all dead.
No, they're not dead. They're all alive. Sure.
They're all dead. The Rolling Stones are all dead too.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're
it's all holograms.
They're still like snorting coke and like banging chicks left and right.
They reanimated their corpses, but they're all dead.
No.
They have to be. They're 200 years old.
They are. Maybe drugs kept them alive. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like the opposite.
It's amazing how somebody like what's his name?
Steven Tyler.
No, the dude from the Rolling Stones. What's his name?
Mick Jagger.
No, the other one.
The other guy, yeah.
The really old dude.
They're both old.
What the hell's his name? But you know what I'm talking about. The fuck's his name?
Oh, fuck.
Keith Richards.
I'm embarrassed that I don't know that. Yeah.
He's like 217 years old, and he's probably done every single drug under the sun.
Well, yeah, he's
he's probably
Johnny
fucked like
Depp's
7,000 women.
He's like the pirate.
And he's still alive. He's still alive, right?
Yeah, he's still alive.
How do people like that live forever? Then you got a dude who like eats nothing but salads and exercises and runs 20 miles a day, and then he dies at age 35.
It's genes.
Yeah,
a lot of it is genes.
That's how I justify my pizza.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you're gonna live forever.
That's exactly how I justify the pizza. Yeah, I'm like, there's some people that they're so healthy, but they're just they're not happy. So,
aren't you gonna get sick of pizza? Like at some point?
No, I haven't gotten sick of it yet. I've been eating pizza my whole life.
Have you ever had a hot and ready?
Yeah, I've had a hot and ready.
It's so amazing. Like it's
not that amazing.
It tastes so good, but you kind of feel a lot of shame after you eat one.
Yeah.
You should feel a whole lot of shame
after you've just downed an entire hot and ready.
Yeah,
in one
at
sitting.
least Darrin like breaks it up into 3 meals.
2 meals.
No, 3. He eats 4 pieces.
Now
saves 4
now
pieces.
it's just like 1 meal.
Yeah.
And then he reheats 2 and then reheats 2 again, which I'm kind of worried about you getting like food poisoning because you can't keep food out for that long without being refrigerated.
He's got a mini fridge.
No, he's keeping the car. It stays good. You can't keep it for more than like 2 days. It gets too hard. But if you keep it for like a day and a half, that's most you keep it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you must have a stomach of lead.
This episode has run its course, people. Darrin,
talking about microwave pizza.
Yeah,
right? At 7-Eleven.
Yeah, you get a $1 soda, microwave the pizza.
It's perfect.
That's how you live in LA.
Why don't you just save the cup?
Be able to live.
Do you just save the cup and you can just like,
No, I used
carry
to,
it
and then
in
the
and
soda
then, like,
just
do the refill
no.
thing?
He's moving on up.
No, because you gotta rinse it. You gotta rinse it out. If you don't do that, then you get the sticky soda in there and stuff. And it's just easy to give them $1. Here's $1. Let me use your microwave and get a soda.
So
that's all you gotta do is give them $1.
Yeah, I guess that works.
When you're doing one more show tomorrow night, you said, in Minnesota.
Yep.
You're in Shakopee.
Yep. Shakopee again.
When do you plan on coming back to Minnesota again?
Never.
Probably around May, if I were to guess, because I'm going to be headlining a weekend at Rick McLeod's Comedy Cabaret, and I think he was booked through April, so probably come back in May or June. And I want to get up here and see my dog again. My plan was to bring my dog to LA, but I didn't find a place to live, so I can't do that. So use an excuse to come up here and see family and visit my dog and do some comedy.
Oh, that'd be even cooler story if your dog lived in the car with you.
Yeah, what kind of dog do you have?
Too hot. Way too hot. It's Lab Sharpei.
Oh, a Sharpie. Can't
Aw, everybody drink. Frenzy said aw.
I'm a big animal person, so.
Yeah, I love dogs. Dogs are the best.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I wish I had in LA that I don't, but she's in a good place, my parents and stuff, so.
Yeah, eventually you'll get her. You'll bring her out there. She'll run on the beach. You can maybe teach her how to surf. That'd be sweet.
You can't bring dogs on the beach in LA. It's absolutely crazy. Like,
what?
You can't bring a dog in you have to go like way out of like
way out
where people
north
live and stuff. Yeah, if you go like way out of the districts, but if you're in Venice, you can't bring a dog on the beach.
I can see that. But
no, that's douchey.
Well, I lived in Santa Monica a long time ago, like forever ago, but I don't remember that being a thing, so they must have changed that since then. Probably because
I was a little disappointed, but I found a dog there. I found a pit bull German Shepherd mix, and I brought it to the beach. And I was down by the water, and the lifeguard comes up and says, "Hey, you gotta get that out of here. If a cop sees it, you gotta take it right away." So I picked the dog up and I ran off the water. Like, oh, that's too bad.
So what do you got coming up in the near future here?
I will be going when I get back to LA. I have a few gigs up there. I'm doing doing a few local bars, and I'm doing the Pechanga Resort and Casino on March 31st and April 1st. And then the next night I'm at the Comedy Store in the main room. Just found that out today.
Nice.
Then I'm going to Flappers, and a few other bar gigs, and yeah, hopefully back to Minnesota then in May. I was supposed to headline a gig up in Idaho again. It was actually supposed to be this last Tuesday, but it got bumped to possibly April or May. So,
Okay.
but yeah, that's what's coming up next.
Nice.
Other than that, nothing too noteworthy.
And where can people find you? Where can they look you up? All that good stuff.
I try to keep my website up to date. I got Darrin Chase Comedy, DARRIN CHASE Comedy, and then I have Twitter at Darrin Chase, Instagram at Darrin Chase, Facebook Darrin.Chase26. The whole gamut stretching on the Darrin Chase, which I gotta get famous enough to where my version of Darrin is the main way of spelling it, DARRIN. I want that to be the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, the EMs are winning.
That's
Go
the standard.
to Darrin's website. Darrin Chase.
Thank you.
This podcast is over.
Yeah, we're done. We're so done.
Fair.
Thank you for sharing your time with us, my friend.
Yes, thank you.
You are
Yeah, thank you for having me.
you are a fellow Minnesota native, so we have to love you. You're one of our own.
Yeah, and I'm glad it worked out that I ended up getting to schedule you while you were in Minnesota. It was pretty cool.
I honestly, I thought it was because you thought I was going to be in Minnesota. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I'm in town. That works perfectly.
Well,
And I was like, oh, it's a phone interview. I could have done it anywhere.
Yeah.
Next time you come to town, we'll have to get together and go have some drinks.
Yeah.
We'll
Totally.
we'll come and see you do your stand up and then we'll have some drinks.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll bring some pizza.
Yeah.
Only $5. Affordable.
You can pay me back.
All
I'll
right,
sell
my
bumper
friend.
stickers.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I
Thank
hope it was
you.
what you wanted.
You are Sarge approved.
Yes, absolutely. Approved.
Boom.
I get told way too often I look like if Gerard Butler and Tom Green had a baby.
It's outro time. Frenzy.
It's time for the outro?
It is time for the outro.
Holy shit.
All right. That was our guest comedian Darrin Chase and Little Caesars connoisseur. Mm-hmm. The official, unofficial ambassador
Exactly.
of Little Caesars. Who do we got coming up?
Well, we're off for a little bit coming up, but we've got Rob Lewis coming up.
Comedian Rob Lewis. Mm-hmm. And then we're taking a 9-day break.
Yeah.
We usually take about 7 days off once a month in a row, 7 days in a row. Take a week off.
Yeah, now we have 9.
This is going to be a 9-day vacation. And then on Tuesday, the 21st of March, we have comedian Dat Fan.
Yeah, so we're coming back with an awesome badass guest.
Dat come back strong. So we're going to come back all groggy and shit, and we need to come back with somebody strong.
Oh, yeah.
And Dat Fan's badass.
He's totally.
Original winner of Last Comic Standing. Mm-hmm. And he's got a part in that new Kong movie.
Yep. And also does some stand-up with our fellow friend Larry Venturino.
Yeah,
They're going to be in Fort Myers coming up here at the end of the month.
Yep.
End of March, beginning of April.
Yep. They get in the if you see the promo that they've got on Facebook and stuff, and Twitter and all that, it's evolved.
Oh yeah.
Over the course, I think it's finally done now. Dat Fan told me that it's finally done.
Okay, because they've added like 47 people since the beginning.
The promo
of the
was
first
full,
one.
so a ton of good acts that are going to be there for that show. So if you're going to be in the Fort Myers area, or you're not going to be in the Fort Myers area,
just go there.
Get your ass to the Fort Myers area and check out the show. It's going to be a blast. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We can definitely vouch for Larry Venturino. He is funny as hell. And Dat Fan, we know he's funny.
Yeah.
He's going to verify it when he's on the show on the 21st. So,
looking forward to it.
Yeah. And let's do some shout-outs, huh?
Yeah, totally. Let's do some shout-outs.
Who do you want to shout out to?
I would like to shout out to Barbara Kennedy.
Oh, Barbara, I missed her.
I know, I miss her too. We had an amazing time with her on our show. Barbara is an author of the Lipstick Mountain Memoirs. And also the Stiletto Stories, which are kind of a short, fanciful, and sometimes tragic novella series that she's written.
Oh, shit.
Which is pretty cool. You can find her at MadisonAvenuePublishers.com and check out her stuff. She writes some good stuff. Very interesting, smart, amazing lady.
She's an insanely interesting woman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very interesting. If you haven't listened to her episode, go back and listen to it. She has, lived an insane life. She has done pretty much everything.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Like, I feel like doing this, so she goes and does it.
Yeah,
and then succeeds at it.
But achieves and succeeds just because she's that cool.
I think she definitely qualifies as an overachiever.
Yeah, she does. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, she likes the F-bomb too, which
hey Barbara,
which I love. Hey Barbara, looking forward to having you on again soon.
Yes. All right, I want to give a shout out to Josh Denny. He was on not too long ago. Episode 36, I believe. Mm-hmm. He is the host of Ginormous Foods.
No, just Food.
Ginormous Food.
Yeah.
I did that last time. Ginormous Food on the Food Network. Comedian. And they are now currently filming Season 2 of Ginormous Food. Mm-hmm. And you can follow that adventure on Instagram. If you go check out at Josh Denny on Instagram, you can follow the adventure of them filming Season 2. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think I just saw him post something the other day about he had tried African food for the first time. So
really?
That should be interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, you should go to our Facebook page and you should follow us. You should like our page, follow us. Go to Twitter, follow us. Go to, where else should I go? Go to our website. What's our website, Frenzy?
www.sargeapproved.com.
Yes, we have all our episodes there.
Mm-hmm.
We have our guest calendar. You can go back and look at our past guests, our future guests, and their profile pages with their sweet theme songs that we pick out.
Yeah.
And you can go and find all our episodes in other places like iTunes,
Spreaker,
Google Play Music.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
You can also find us on Instagram. Send us a message sometime. Just say, hey, what up?
It's all Sarge Approved. If you want to listen to our beautiful, silky voices, just type in Sarge Approved in your browser, and you are going to find us.
Yeah, our super sexy Minnesotan accents.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves that thick northern Minnesota accent. Well, we're not really northern Minnesota, but don't you know?
Oh, yeah. It's
all
all
right.
good.
And while you're at it, go over to National Survival Center. They sponsor our show, and they are awesome. It's run by combat veterans, and it's the place where you can get all the gear that you're looking for. If you're looking to go camping, you want some tents, you want some sleeping bags, some backpacks, things like that. If you're looking to stock up for the zombie apocalypse, because I'm pretty sure that's happening next week.
Yeah, or like this winter storm on the East Coast. You guys should have ordered some shit from National Survival.
Some like negative 30 degree below sleeping bags or something.
Some shovels.
They have top of the line gear. The same gear you're going to find at the big box stores. The same gear you're going to find on Amazon. But I guarantee you it's going to be cheaper than definitely the big box stores. It's probably going to be cheaper than anywhere on the internet. And if you find a piece of gear on National Survival Center that you like and you want, but you find it cheaper somewhere else, shoot them an email. Let them know.
Yeah, totally.
They might match it. They got free shipping on damn near all their gear, and it's all top of the line hand tested stuff. So go check them out, nationalsurvivalcenter.com, or
Don't Survive.
SurviveDon'tSuffer.com. That's
No,
their
don't
motto.
survive.
That's their motto. Survive, don't suffer. All right. We are going to play this episode out with a song. What's it called, Frenzy?
The song is by Heatbox, and the song is called Pizza Funk.
Oh, this is perfect for Darrin.
Totally perfect.
All right. Thanks for being with us, people.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Later, fuckers.
Now I got to get pizza. I want to eat it. You know I need a piece of funk. Pizza Hut. Order it up, steady it. What's not to do? 'Cause I'm about to come through with a water dope for that water dope. Breadsticks to boot. You gotta take that pizza and you're gonna put it in your mouth. And then switch it around. Now send it out. But what's not to do? 'Cause I'm about to come through with a water dope for that water dope. Breadsticks to boot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta get that pizza bomb. 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 I'm gonna get that pizza bomb. I'm gonna get that pizza bomb. I'm gonna pizza phone. You gotta take that pizza and you're gonna put it in your mouth and switch it around. Send it out. What's not to do? I'm about to come through. If you fly, since I don't drive and I'll buy it too. You gotta take that pizza and you're gonna put it in your mouth. And then you turn it around. Now send it out. What's not to do? Cause I'm about to come through. If you buy, since I am broke, we could be best friends for life. That's true. I'm gonna get that pizza phone. 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 I'm gonna get that pizza phone.